morning, I am Bridget Miskimen, and today I'm here to teach you what's called the flip classroom. And I'm going to teach you about classifying triangles. Well, first of all, what does classify even mean? Well, classify means another name for triangles. And we can actually call triangles different names based on two things. We can do it based on the angles, which you know a triangle has three sides, therefore there's three angles. Also, we can call triangles different names based on the outside of the lengths. So I'm going to teach you that today. Objective: to classify and draw triangles and find the missing angles inside the triangles. And then why do we do this? To further your knowledge in measurement and geometry and building a strong foundation in geometry throughout high school. So here are some new vocabulary words. Triangles, I just talked about that. It's three sides, that's what tri means. And then inside equals 180, and I'm going to teach you a little lesson about that later in this presentation. But you also have to remember that triangle is half a square, and since square is 360 degrees, a triangle is half of that, which is 180. Congruent triangles, congruent means the same, so they're the same size and the same shape. So what are the California standards, the reason why I'm doing this lesson? Draw triangles from the information about them. A right isosceles triangle. Write and solve one-step equations in one variable. Express in symbolic form simple relationships arising from geometry. To identify and describe the properties of two-dimensional figures. And lastly, use a variety of methods such as words, numbers, symbols, charts, graphs, tables, diagrams, and models to explain mathematical reasoning. So the first yellow triangle, as you can see, that is called an equilateral triangle. All sides are the same length. Therefore, it's congruent, but it's an equilateral triangle. The white one is a scalene triangle. If you look at the sides, all three sides have different lengths. Isosceles triangles has at least two sides of the same length, two sides that are congruent. And then that is a right triangle. If you look, the right triangle almost makes like an L. And a lot of times right here will be a little red box, and that's also a symbol showing 90 degrees. An acute triangle. These mean that the angles are less than 90 degrees. I always say acute, come here little puppy, it's so cute. Something little cute is little. Or obtuse triangle means big. I always think of obese, something greater than 90 but less than 180. That is an obtuse triangle with one obtuse angle. So as I can tell you, we can classify triangles based on sides and based on angles. So all three have the same length, equilateral triangle. Two sides of the same length is isosceles, but it can also be acute, right, or obtuse depending on the angle. If you have a triangle with no sides of the same length, not congruent at all, that is going to be scalene. But it can also be, again, acute, right, or obtuse, depending on the inside of the angle. Now, based on angles, all acute angles, now three angles are less than 90 degrees. This may be equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. One right angle. All you need is one with 90 degrees, so look for that little L, look for that little red box, and that is a right angle. And this can also be isosceles or scalene based on the outside lengths. One obtuse angle has one angle between 90 and 180 degrees. This may also be isosceles or scalene. So how do we find the missing angle of a triangle? Well, how do you know what the measures are? I challenge you to take a piece of paper and to cut any size triangle you want. Can you do it with just one cut? Let me show you how I do it. And there's your triangle. Now a triangle, we said, has three angles. Now just tear the angles. Okay, you have the three angles. If you arrange these, so forth, without them overlapping, they will make a straight line. And a straight line equals 180 degrees. So knowing that, Okay, we're going to find the missing angle. So they're going to give you two angles. Now you will add them together. And then we told you it was 180 degrees. So then you would subtract those two angles from 180. And then always check your work. So if we know a triangle has 90 and 30 degrees, you add that together and you get 120 degrees. Now I said that we have to subtract that from 180. And what do you get? 60 degrees. So the missing angle is 60 degrees. Okay, so now we're going to try it on your own. I want you to try to tell me the name of this triangle in two ways. So obviously that means we're going to talk about the angles and we're going to talk about the outsides of the length. Okay? So here is this little right angle, right? Are any sides the same length? What's that going to be called? Look at this side. Look at these angles. Okay? So, number one, no sides are the same length, so that's scalene, and then it is a right triangle. So 2 is going to be an isosceles, and all the angles again are less than 180, less than 90, so that is acute. 3, that is a scalene triangle because no sides are the same length, but this one angle does go past 90 degrees to make it obtuse. And then lastly, all sides are the same length. It is equilateral, and it's also acute because they are less than, remember I told you little acute, less than 90 degrees. So let's try some more. Find the missing angle of the third angle of each triangle. So if you have 98 and 40, what do? Add it together and then subtract it from 180, right? So 5 would be 42 degrees. Add 29 and 84. Subtract it from 180, 67. Okay, we'll go back and name them after we find the measurements. So you add the 72, 46, subtract it from 180, you get 62. And then 43 and 25, subtract it from 180, and you get 112. So if we go back and look at number 5, no sides are the same length. So that's going to be scalene. Okay? But we have 98 degrees, that is greater than 90, so that is obtuse. On number 6, all the angles are less than 90 degrees. Therefore, it's acute. And again, scalene, no sides are the same length. Number 7, it's going to be acute and scalene again because all the angles are less than 90. And no sides the same length. So what's 8 going to be? Obtuse because that angle is greater than 90. And then again, scalene, no sides the same length. So, objective review. To classify and draw triangles and find the missing angles. Why? You have furthered your knowledge in measurement and geometry and keep building a strong foundation in geometry. You can classify and draw triangles according to sides and angle measures. By knowing that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees, you can find the measure of any unknown angle. And if they don't give you an angle, it's probably because they're trying to trick you, and that means it's 90 degrees. Okay, and then a couple little last posters right here. Okay, looking at the angle again, that's going to be a right triangle. And again, you only need one right angle. This angle goes past 90, so that is obtuse. And again, you only need one angle greater than 90. And here you can see they're all cute, little angles. They're less than 90, so that is acute. And lastly, based on the sides of the lengths on the outside, you can actually get a ruler and measure them if you'd like to. But you can tell pretty much just by looking at it that these sides, none of them are the same length. Therefore, it is scalene. Here, these two sides are the same length. So you only need 2 to become an isosceles triangle. And then lastly, you can tell all 3 sides are the same length. Therefore, it is called equilateral triangle. All right, so hopefully you learned classifying triangles based on angles and sides. Thank you.